Hey there, it's Kristen Binford, wedding venue owner, venue coach, coming to you on multiple platforms today on the topic of bridal shows. Now, I would encourage you, if you have any intention on attending a bridal show as a venue owner, to grab a quick notepad because I'm going to give you a few quick tips today. Now, I want to be the first to let you know that I don't believe bridal shows are generally super valuable for venues. It's not something that we teach our clients to do in terms of action, but as a brand new wedding venue or a venue with a ton of dates open on your calendar, you might have already signed up for a bridal show. And if you have, I'd love to give you a few quick suggestions on how to make the most of your time there at the show. So if you are watching this the first time we debut this video, go ahead and comment #lives in the comments so that we know that you're here. And if you happen to catch this later, go ahead and comment #replay. All right, my friend. So let's talk first about the good and about the bad of bridal shows. Now, bridal shows in the wedding industry can look a few different ways. Sometimes they happen at a venue. Sometimes they'll happen or be hosted at a big convention center. Sometimes they're very traditional in terms of it feels a little overwhelming to couples because there's lights and there's so many people and it's just kind of an overwhelming experience. Every once in a while, you'll find a bridal show in your market that's more intimate in nature and more specific in terms of the ideal client that's there. But we're just going to speak generically about bridal shows today. So, and this will be a real quick video, but there'll be a couple of actionable things. So, like I said, let's talk about the good and the bad of bridal shows. So I would say the good of bridal shows, especially if you're brand new, is the opportunity to meet with and network with other venues in your area or other vendors in your market. Now, take what I'm saying here with a big grain of salt, because those people who have booths at the bridal fair are going to be interested in talking to couples. They may not be particularly interested in talking with other vendors or venues at the bridal fair, but it's still a good opportunity to kind of bump into, say hello to other vendors and venues in your market. We haven't done bridal shows in probably 7 or 8 years, maybe, at my venue. We'll talk about the why here in just a minute. But when we were very early in our time as a venue, we went to a few and we did make some friends and meet some other people in the industry. And that was really nice. So I would say that's a good about bridal shows. Now, another good is occasionally your ideal client is going to be there, meaning you might bump into someone who turns into a booking at your venue. I say might turn into because that's also one of the quote bads, I would say, about bridal shows as a venue owner. So in my experience, and I'm sure it varies by bridal show, you could certainly ask the organizers of the show this question, but in my experience, about 70% of couples who attend bridal shows already have their venue booked. So if you think about just for round numbers, let's say there's 100 couples at the show, 70 of them already have their venue booked. That leaves 30. Now, here's where it gets tricky for venues. So you're already down to a lot less than the total number of couples there. By the way, if I was a DJ or a photographer or a florist, I would probably see a lot more value in shows because they tend to book later in the process than venues do. Venues are generally the first step in the booking process. So just by the time they get to the show, a lot of times they already have a venue booked. So again, back to our numbers. So if 30 couples don't have their venue booked, you need them to wander by your booth. They need to like your space. They need to be happy with your location. You need to fit into their idea of pricing and total wedding budget and value proposition. You need to have dates open that they want, and y'all need to like each other. So there's a lot of things that have to go right of those 30 couples, and they're not all going to wander by your booth. So it just kind of becomes a game of numbers where the numbers and the odds aren't necessarily in your favor as a venue owner. Also, part of the reason for that, I believe, is because, again, I feel like many bridal shows kind of feel like a feeding frenzy. You know, if you think about the general population, a lot of people get overwhelmed in crowds or feel like, well, I don't want to be sold something. And so many bridal shows are just that. It's like, spin this wheel and win this free thing. And salespeople jumping out of the woodwork at you. And it can just be an overwhelming experience for couples. You'll see couples kind of standing and looking at booths from far away, like, hey, do I want to talk to that person? Do I not want to talk to that person? Because they don't want to be kind of trapped into a conversation where they're being sold if it's not something that they're interested in. So I say all this to say, if you're going to attend a bridal show, just have realistic expectations about what you're up against. Now, if you are attending a bridal show because you've already signed up for some, generally I would say the best ones to attend are right after the first of the year. Just because couples get engaged around Christmas time. Many couples do. So here would be, if you are attending a show, here would be some of my do's for that show. Number one, make sure that you have a large sign that says venue. So often, especially if you have good photography taken at your place. I can remember that people would walk by our booth and think that we were a photographer because we had all these large format pictures printed. And they were at all different spots in our property, and we looked like a photographer. So learned the hard way, needed a big sign that said venue. Also, I would make the outcome for the show to be booking tours, not to try to be booking weddings, sight unseen. And then thirdly, a big outcome for the show is I would get a list of the vendors who are attending and look at like who are the names on this list that I really want to meet and say hello to. Now, it may not be possible for you to have any kind of in-depth conversation at the show. It depends. In my experience, a lot of those shows, especially if they're 2 days, the last couple hours of the second day is completely slow. So you might have more opportunity to network with some photographers or with some DJs, etc. Also, I'm a big believer in go say hi to the venues in your market. I remember distinctly early on, there were several venues who were so kind when I stopped by to say hello. And there were one or two who were super rude and had no desire to talk to me. That's okay. No skin off my nose. We weren't meant to be connected and have that kind of relationship, but it was good to know, right? Because as a venue owner, there's times when we're not the right fit or we're not, we don't have dates open that couples may want. So I'd much rather have relationships with other venues in the market and be able to refer couples out to venue owners who I think are great people than not know anybody and not be able to help when I can. So all right, my friends, those are just a couple of things to consider if you are signed up to attend a bridal show. Now, again, this is not something that we teach our clients because it's just not something that we've seen usually be very fruitful for folks. But if you are a established venue owner and you want to grow your business, or you are a brand new venue owner and you want to grow your business, meaning attract your ideal couples, book more of them, and build the business in a way that serves you and them so that you're protecting your time, my friends, that's what we do with our coaching clients inside the Venue Accelerator. You're invited to book a call with our team, KristenBinford.com/accelerator. If you signed up for a bridal show and you're like, oh, Kristen, you're telling me all of the things that might be tricky about this. Hey, listen, I would rather you go in eyes wide open than not. And I also want you to just be reasonable with your expectations based on the challenges of shows. So shows are not like, again, it's not part of the matrix of things that we teach our coaching clients, but there are a lot of other things that you can be doing to reach more of your ideal couples and be booking more of them. So if you haven't booked a call with our team, KristenBinford.com/accelerator, and we'll dive in. We'll see where you're at. We'll figure out what's getting in the way of what you really want. We'll dive into what your plan is. And if we can help you, we'll show you how. If something else is better, we'll be totally honest about that too. Either way, we'll have a good conversation and part friends. So, all right, my friend, have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video.